Hey guys, Pete here. I'm guessing that everyone's seen the new Game of Thrones Season 8 trailer, the first full-length trailer we got with Season 8 footage. It actually came out, I live in Vietnam, so it came out like right as I was laying in bed. I got a notification and it was from the YouTube channel of Game of Thrones saying that there was an official trailer. So I couldn't sleep for a while thinking about that, and today I've been working on some Game of Thrones content, and I decided that rather than making a trailer breakdown, since there's probably already a bunch of those out there, that I would look at some of the other stuff. Does this actually tell us much as far as things we didn't already know? The hype train has definitely left the station at this point. The night before last, I saw the James Hibberd stuff come out right before bedtime. In that article, we learned a lot more about the shooting, and they're really serving up the Battle of Winterfell on a platter as far as not trying to keep that a secret. They made it clear that it's going to be the third episode. It's going to be the longest cinematic action sequence ever recorded. It's going to go on for over 40 minutes, which is pretty insane in and of itself. And we know that all the major characters, for the most part, are going to be there. The trailer is definitely exciting. The idea of this super long battle is definitely exciting, but it's interesting that they're being so upfront about that, considering that there has to be a lot more that happens in this season to make it satisfying if we already know about the big battle. I think it's safe to say that all of what we see here is from the first 3 episodes. There may be a short sequence or 2 in there that are from later, but nothing of consequence that stands out. And frankly, not much that shows us how that battle is decided, which is good. I mean, that's the drama, right? But most of what we see is the pregame, and the battle scenes that we actually see are really kind of dark and hard to make out, and we don't really see the dead much at all. So let's talk about what we don't see, what that might mean, what I really found interesting about this, and then you guys can all decide what you thought was interesting and tell me about that in the comments. First major character that we don't see in this trailer goes back to what I was just saying, that we don't see the dead much. We don't see whites, we don't see White Walkers, and we definitely don't see the Night King or Viserion in this trailer. There's no question as to what the threat to Winterfell is, so that we don't really need to see that. That's a great reveal to see in the actual episode, right? But it's still notable that we only see one side in this two-sided battle. Another main character that we don't see is Theon, and that's pretty easily explained in that I assume that Theon's going to do what he said he was going to do, and he's going to go try to save Yara. Euron actually plays a role in this trailer in delivering the Golden Company to Cersei, and that has to happen first before Theon can do anything to Euron. Another character that's missing here that I feel like is going to play a big part in the end game is Melisandre. We don't see any hint of her or her influence on the preparation for the battle. I don't think it's going to happen, but just like everybody I think that knows who the Fiery Hand are and what they look like, I'm hoping to see them, but I don't know that they're going to definitely play a part. However, Melisandre is an important character. I do think she has a part to play in this battle. If she shows up with 1,000 soldiers wearing orange robes and red armor, that'd be great. But regardless, I think it's interesting that she's not in this at all, and that might mean something about how she makes an entrance. Also, we don't see Ghost, we don't see Nymeria. Although I imagine if Nymeria and her wolf pack show up, that would be in the middle of the battle rather than, they'll come and line up with everybody in the beginning or something like that. But we do know that Ghost is going to be back, and I expect that he'll play a part in the battle, but none of the shots with Jon that we see here actually have Ghost involved in them. That's really it for all the characters that we don't see. Everyone else is pretty much involved in these different clips. Besides Theon, this could be something that it's telling us that these players are all going to play an impactful role, but they don't want to reveal them ahead of time because that would take away from their entrance when they do come. With that out of the way, I wanted to talk about the parts I thought were the most interesting, the first of which being this Arya sequence at the very beginning. Of course, there's a lot of great stuff in this trailer. An example is Jon getting ready to ride Rhaegal. I mean, that is an awesome moment for a trailer. But the Arya sequence is a lot more interesting to me. She's running, but you can't really tell where she's running to. The voiceover is from earlier, like it's from before the battle, and we see her looking really confident, and that's what really stood out, is the contrast there. Ever since Arya has been back, and on her way back for that matter, from Braavos, she's had this really cool exterior, you know, like think about whenever she reunited with Hot Pie, it was, hey, yeah, okay, you got any ale, you know what I mean? She's not really been a frightened child in her interactions. Say what you want about the Winterfell subplot last season, but think about her demeanor. Think about when she executed Littlefinger. She's come across as this calculated assassin. So, this is her first battle. We see her fighting. She's got blood on her face when she's running down this hall, so she may have been injured. But the whole idea of most of what I've read or heard about this is that she's running from something, meaning that, the battle has turned outside and now she is being chased, which is probably the case and everything else. But it's just a curious looking scene. Like, where is she going? And what exactly did she see or experience that made her go from that new personality that we've seen to someone who's really genuinely terrified? I think that's interesting. I don't know if it means anything. It's pretty likely that she's heading, to the crypts where we saw Varys and others hiding out with, Gilly and everything. But it's a pretty interesting sequence, in my opinion. I don't know if you could say it's something we didn't know. Obviously, we knew that everyone would be tested in this situation. But it really emphasizes the reality of that for me whenever I watch this. When you see Arya here, all these other questions about what's going to happen when Jon finds out his true parentage and how's Daenerys going to take it and all this other stuff that's going on, those things really don't matter in the heat of this confrontation. Of course, Jon is going to be upset. We see that here in the trailer. Of course, that's going to cause an awkward situation. But at the same time, the thing that's hanging over everyone's heads is a literal battle for life versus death. And that leads me into the next thing that I thought was really interesting. And I didn't really pick this up until after watching it several times. When we hear Jon talking about the army of the dead and the enemy, the others, the White Walkers, we get that coupled with Cersei. And it jumped out to me that, they're going to do this, right? In the third episode, they're going to battle for life for everyone. The show creators, everyone that has any idea about what's going to happen is telling us that. But think about the fact that even after that is over, one way or another, the White Walkers are going to be defeated, but that's not even the end of the story. After they do this, as this clearly shows in the way that they edited this trailer, Cersei is planning on wiping them out. She's also a formidable enemy, and she's human. The Night King, and I think this is all we're really going to ever know about the Night King in the main Game of Thrones series. I feel like we're going to probably learn a lot more about who he is and where he came from and all of that when the prequel comes out. But all we've been led to know so far about his creation and what he does and what his goals are is that he exists to destroy humanity. In that absolute sense, he's able to get everyone on the same page to save everyone, except for the humans, Cersei and her people, that are trying to use this to their advantage to retain power. And I think that's really interesting. I think there's a lot of good stuff that can come out of that after this battle as far as wrapping up the series. I mean, who is the worst enemy? I think that is a good question at this point, and I think it says a lot about humanity and what we are and who we are, and I think that's a great way to highlight that in this trailer without giving up too much about the way the thing ends. Beyond that, I'm pretty excited. I had been working on some other stuff, and I'll have some more videos coming out, and I think they did a really good job here of stoking up the hype, getting everyone excited. As to the question that this video asks in the title, though, I don't think that we really did learn anything new. Nothing that we didn't already know or couldn't piece together based on the evidence from the story or all the press that they've already put out. In my mind, this confirms Jon's going to ride Rhaegal. He's definitely going to find out. I mean, it's not just in my mind, but he's definitely going to find out about his parentage. They're going to have to deal with all that, and it's all leading up to a giant battle in episode 3. But beyond that, what I've mentioned here in this video, the Arya sequence and the Cersei stuff, has me more excited about the overall story than I thought that I was. And I was pretty excited about it already, so that's a good thing. Let me know what you guys think, though. As I mentioned, I have been working on some other Game of Thrones content, so that'll be coming over the next few days. Can dig a little bit deeper into what's going on and what we expect to see happen. Now that we have the trailer, that stuff is going to be even a little bit easier to put together. I think there's about 40 days until the first episode drops. I think we'll probably get one more trailer, although I don't expect that we'll get to find out too much more about anything beyond this battle, just because of the logistics of like anything they show after that will reveal who makes it through the battle, you understand? So it's like, if you see later scenes from the season, then that's going to take away some of the drama whenever the actual fighting is going on. So that's where I'm at. Let me know where you guys are at. I appreciate you watching, and I will talk to you soon.